Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hey, this is Krystal Vayda from the best production company in the world, Krystal Studios. You're listening to my favorite boys, Zero Dark Nerdy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. This is your host, Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with...
Ryan Saber, Captain Cleveland Browns, Cavs, Indians, CLE, till I die.
And we have a very, very special guest in the building. On behalf of the movie Dreamcatcher from Krystal Studios, we have Krystal Vayda joining us in the house. Krystal, how are you doing today?
I'm just perfect. My power just went out, and so I'm rolling with it. And you guys bring a smile to my face. So to answer your question, I'm doing fabulous. How are you guys going?
Hey, we're doing good. Even better now to have you on the show. So I know you are right now in the middle of this promotional tour for Dreamcatcher, coming out this Friday, March 5th. This episode will actually air next week, but March 5th on demand and digital. So if you don't mind, tell the public who has not been fortunate enough like we have to actually watch the film, but I'm sure will be. Tell us a little bit about Dreamcatcher, how it came about, obviously your affiliation with your studio, with your brother, and go from there.
Sure. So this is my second feature. My producing partner is my brother, Brandon, and this is our first film under our new production banner called Krystal Studios. And what we do is we specialize in making young adult content, like just really cool, trendy, whatever that we feel like kind of is speaking to us. Like we say, if we get goosebumps, like we're onto something. And with this one, with our writer-director, Jacob Johnson, this is his directorial debut. He worked at Marvel. We'll get into that. He worked at Marvel for almost 8 years.
Okay.
But we've been developing projects for since 2015. Long story short, we have the same exact taste. We're all 90s kids. And so we decided that Dreamcatcher is a love letter to the 90s. So if you grew up watching movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer or Scream or Urban Legends or just Teaching Mrs. Tingle, during those days, everything was much different than it is now. And you had to reach people on their pager. And, if you're like the cool one, you got a cell phone. So everything's much different. And we just really wanted to do an homage to Wes Craven, who Brandon and I had the privilege to work our last feature on with him, and just really say, you know what, let's do it. Let's do the best that we can. Let's put our best foot forward and throw, no caution to the wind. And let's just have fun and go for it. And so that's what here we are. We made this movie. Gosh, we started casting it 2018, shot it February 2019. And we took a lot of time with post-production because it's an independent film.
Right. And
then the global pandemic hit. So this movie has been pushed 4 times, which is crazy. It's absolutely, it feels like it's been forever. Yeah. So to be on this press tour right now, it's really, really fun because the kind of year that everybody's had, to be able to talk about something that you've done and for it to see the light of day, here we are. So there's a lot to be grateful for.
Football might be over, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are in full swing. And the only place you should be betting on these sports is at betonline.ag. BetOnline covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. BetOnline has hundreds of props with real-time odds on almost anything you can imagine. And of course, the 24-hour online casino. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts.
So, all right, we're gonna go off the movie for a second. I want to ask you a question about you. You're from Southern California, right?
Mm-hmm.
You live in Southern California now, but in between there, you went to school in London. So you've done this Southern Cal, London, back to SoCal. Just talk about that experience. And then while you're telling us about that, tell me the one thing you miss most about London.
Gosh, what great questions. You're taking me back in time. Yeah, so total Orange County girl. I mean, I was born and raised in a town 35 minutes outside of LA, like Hollywood, and a town called Whittier. And then I moved to Orange County. So Orange County, LA girl. When I turned 18, moved to Hollywood and never looked back. And then my family, the way they are is I gave a year of going to college. That just wasn't for me. But my family is pretty, they're very supportive creatively. However, they really are firm believers in whatever it is you're going to do to really educate yourself, whatever that means, because it doesn't matter what field you're in, but you really do need to kind of dive head first. So I applied for what I think is the world's best school for acting. It's London. And I think still to this day, I'll still say London. That's where the theater originated from. And so I needed to do something that scared me. So I applied and I got in. And I don't even know if I actually really thought that I was ever going to get in. And I got in. And I'm like, was born and raised in Southern California doing TV, just the kind of work that you do in Hollywood. And so to go, that was the first time internationally by myself and being in a school where everybody is so intelligent and they're so well versed in classic literature, Shakespeare, where, they're like real theater, like full on. And I was not. So I definitely bit way more than I could chew. And it was really, I got so ahead of myself. I don't know if you guys have ever gotten ahead of yourself. That was for sure a time. And, but I stuck with it, and it scared the living heck out of me. And I think it was the best thing for me, because ever since then, I just realized like that's where you grow, is when you're uncomfortable and you scare yourself. You realize like, yeah, it's going to be scary, but what's more scary is not going after your dreams and having to sit back and wonder like what my life would have been like if I didn't have the courage. So, I came back to LA, pursued acting and producing, and, really just took what I learned from that experience and applied it. And a very long story short, Ryan, I miss it. I really miss it because there's a different culture that English and British people have. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how you guys were brought up, but I think that somewhere along the lines, us Americans kind of like maybe got a little too casual, maybe not, maybe that's up for debate. But I think that they have, the East Coast has it, but there's just a level of like old school values, principles, and sophistication that they still manage while like still being in 2021. And I really miss all my friends out there.
So, as we were doing some research on you, we saw that you were a part of some national campaigns where you were younger. McDonald's, Nissan, Disney. Talk a little bit about that kind of process as a kid, growing up into, I don't want to say the lifestyle, but, starting off with these amazing national campaigns. And I think Sable will follow up with one of them after, but and definitely in regards to those three, it's not like these are three brands that nobody's ever heard of. So obviously these are national, worldwide brands. How was that? And then how did it feel for you kind of the first couple times seeing yourself on these ads too, and especially at such a young age?
You know what? It's like a hamster wheel. Like you like put it up on this pedestal, like it's going to be this thing, and you like go on the hamster wheel, and then you accomplish something, whatever that is, and you get there, and then you realize like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, Because I take my career very seriously, like I really do. I don't take myself seriously though. I think you can lose yourself if you do. We're artists. We're making art, like motion art. We're here to entertain. I consider myself one of the luckiest, human beings on the planet that I get to be able to do that. And so I just always try to remember, like, chill out. Like there's people out there that are really doing like amazing. Not to say that, not to discredit what we do, but like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you work and you get somewhere, and then you just want more, and you think like, okay, well, I've gotten this national campaign, now I want this, and you just kind of like keep going. And I think as long as that passion or bug, it kind of like speaks to you, or whatever you relate to, as long as you have that, just keep going with it because it's there for a reason.
I think one of the most interesting things about you, and probably one of the coolest things about you, is you've really worked with your family through a large portion of your life, right? Very early age, your godmother, who was the hairstylist to the stars. Now, you're obviously business partners with your brother. Talk about the challenge of, obviously it's awesome to be with your family every day, but I'm sure, there's little challenges associated with that. Just talk about that dynamic, because I think that's one of the coolest things about you.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, that's such a nice compliment for you to say. That's either really cool. That's one way to interpret it, or I'm just crazy, Look, I always followed my dreams, and I was drawn to Hollywood because I just thought it was acting. But when you're young, you don't know what your true calling is. So I came out here, my brother was out here doing his thing. And, as actors, it's an individual career. It's not anything like you could support each other. You can help each other run lines for auditions and stuff like that, but you're not part of a team. And I think being an athlete growing up and having sort of like that team spirit and camaraderie, I think that's sort of where Brandon and I have our mentality, is that Hollywood is really tough, like very, very, very tough. And you have to have really thick skin. And it's pretty crazy, like the journey that we've been on just to get to this point. And what I think we realized is that we're both pretty unique. I think Brandon's one of the smartest people I know, and you guys will have to meet him on another occasion. He just thinks completely differently than me. And I think that what makes him and I a unique sort of force is that I'm a girl and he's a guy. So it's like a boy, girl, sister thing where you have like the different elements of energy. But then we think differently, but then we have the same taste. So it's a unique situation that I think brings a different touch. Usually you see like filmmakers, it's usually two brothers that are like directing partners or producing partners and whatnot. And I'm not really sure if there's a boy girl, I guess actors, but I don't know about producing. And what we found is that we're just better when we come together, and life is also a lot more fun because it's kind of like just going back to when we were kids, going to the beach and just making like a sandcastle. You could do that by yourself, but if you have your friends, and I'm lucky enough to call, my siblings, some of my best friends, life is so much more enjoyable when you get to spend those moments with people it sounds super cliche, but it really is. It's so much better because when it's good, it's better. But then also when you're going to fall, like in its hardships, it's better that you get to have that support around you.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, to me, and just like Saba, family is everything. I have two fraternal twin sisters, and same thing when things are fantastic. Obviously, we love being around each other and sharing the news. And when things are rough, we're there to pick each other up. So obviously, we're siblings, and we may butt heads every now and again. But just similar to your brother, we do have a lot of similar interests, and they're not just my sisters; they're also my best friends too. So.
He's going to start crying in a minute.
Getting a little emotional over here. Want to give a brief moment to talk about our newest sponsor, eBay. Whether rare dead stock or the latest release, find the exact shoe you're looking for. As the original sneaker marketplace, eBay is the place to go to cop the pair you've been eyeing. With eBay's authenticity guarantee, your sneakers are meticulously inspected by independent professional authenticators. A team of experienced sneaker authenticators verify the box, logo, stitching, and dozens of other inspection points. Each sneaker also receives an authenticity guarantee tag that includes a digital stamp of authenticity, and it also protects sellers with a verified return process. And for sneaker sellers out there, eBay has eliminated selling fees on sneakers $100 and up, making it free to sell or flip your collection. Go to ebay.com/sneakers today. eBay, the world's best destination for discovering great value and unique selection. But I think that's a good segue for my next question. So with Quartzo Studios, have you and your brother talked about not just producing these films, but also maybe in the future directing and acting in your films as well? Or are you just happy and content just producing them?
Another good question. Right now, I've been getting asked that a lot. Do you want to direct? Right now, I don't. I don't. Producing, it's my first passion is acting. So juggling acting and producing is like having like 5 full-time jobs. And I feel really like confident and comfortable in that like space that I'm in right now. I think Brandon would he'll probably dabble in the directing. Like I could see him directing TV or doing some cool stuff like that. I think he'll eventually get there. I think in our industry, what you want to do, I really don't think that you pick it. I think you need to get here and you need to spend time here and find out. You'll learn, like it's the process of elimination. You're going to learn not only what you like or what you're good at, but you're going to find out what you're not good at and what's not meant for you. And over time, if you have the sort of stamina to stick it out, you'll really learn what your calling is. So I think that there's more room to experiment, but right now we're super stoked about Quartzo Studios. Like we're so full on, like we're going to greenlight our next project probably in another week or two. And we're really enjoying this moment.
That's great.
Who's some of your biggest influences?
Can you narrow that question down?
Well, look, I read your bio on IMDb, and it talked about a specific influence that you had that helped you sort of cut your teeth when it comes to production. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Are you talking about Mark?
I am.
Mark. I mean, yeah, if you want to talk about who's my producing mentor, it would be Mark Johnson. And for those who don't know who Mark Johnson is, he's a legend and he's so humble and he's so down to earth. He's on the board. He's on the board for the Academy for the Oscars. And he was really good friends with my late godmother, who that's how I met him, is voting when I was like a teenager. He did the movie The Notebook. He produced the entire Chronicles of Narnia. Remember those movies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he won the Oscar for Rain Man, and he's done cool sports movies like The Rookie, and he's currently doing a lot of TV. He did Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. He's just got his hands in everything. He has a new movie out right now, which is really funny. I'll tell you why it's funny is because he's been mentoring me since I was 18, and he's got the same birthday as Brandon. So he's a Capricorn. And I know Capricorns, the way they are, they're just very different people. And he's never been the mentor to tell me like what I want to hear. He's not the cheerleader. He's not like, well, he's nice. He's really polite in that sense, but he's like tough love. And I think that with him, it's almost like having like, God, just like that teacher who you're like, I'm getting the A, you get an A minus, but then your teacher, and I think what it is that he saw potential in me, because I just had this conversation with him, is that he always saw so much potential in me, which is huge. Just makes me like blush just thinking about that because of who he is that he always pushed me even harder. And there was so many times where I thought about quitting this industry because of how hard it is and just the ups and downs and trials and tribulations. And I just reached out to him at the times that really mattered. And, he was there to catch me when I would fall. And when things were good, he would, make sure to like knock me down a little bit so I wouldn't get too ahead of myself. And I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world to be able to be surrounded by so many talented people that took a liking to help guide me. Now I did all the work for sure. I mean, right. He hasn't thrown me any bones by any means. I wish. I'm like still waiting for that phone call. But I also really like that. And I think, you get older and you appreciate things more when you have to work for it and you have to earn it, because they say like the faster you build it, or what is it? Like the faster you build something, if it's not built with like a really solid foundation, it could fall apart as fast as it was built. And so back to, he's currently has one of the top movies right now called The Little Things that he did with John Lee Hancock. And it's with Jared Leto, Denzel, and Rami Malek. Mm-hmm. So I shot Dreamcatcher before that. And then he helped us like on post-production, and he was totally there for us through that process and totally helped us make it better. And then he went and jumped into that one. And every time I would call him, he was pretty stressed out. And he's just like, this is a really intense movie. And I didn't read that script because I was too busy on my. So cut to pandemic and us getting a phone call saying you're in USA Today for Dreamcatcher for the top movies to watch for 2021. That was really crazy, because if you scroll down like 2 movies over, our movie was right next to his.
Yeah.
Wow.
With a bunch of Oscar winners. You know what I mean? Like that was like,
it's a good list to be on.
Yeah. It was, those are like, his movie's called The Little Things. And I think it is, that was a little moment that really validated, okay, maybe I'm not that crazy.
We're all a little crazy, but at the same time, you kind of have to be to chase after your dreams, though. I really, truly do believe that, and have a great support system. Just like you said, it's not going to be overnight. I have a 19-year-old daughter that's at UNCW for film school, and one of the things I try to, it's hard being a dad sometimes because she's my heart, she's my world, but I also have to give her that tough love and let her know anything you want in life, you got to work hard for it. And obviously, I'll do what I can to get her there, but I have to remind her that as always. So,
Brian, I think that's so cool. But don't you think, like, as a dad, that like these phrases sound cliche? They sound kind of like cheesy sometimes.
Yeah.
But if we're at a different point in our lives now where we look back and you're like, oh my God, those weren't just like words. Those weren't just like phrases. There was actually meaning behind that.
Agreed. And you're right. It's when you get to that point where just like you said, wow, so my parents weren't like just instilling me with this for the heck of it. Like it really is true. So, well, let's go back to, the movie we're here promoting. Obviously, we're having a blast getting to know you, and we're going to continue that ride as well. But with Dreamcatcher, talk to me a little bit about the cast, Nikki Koss, Zachary Gordon, Travis Burns, Lou Ferrigno Jr. How was that process as far as not just, I'm not thinking of recruiting here, but as far as the audition process goes, and then on top of that, as just a cast, how was that vibe on set with all of them?
It was the best experience that I've ever had on a movie, like, period. These kids are so cool. They are so talented. And we just went like the old school route. We didn't attach any names. Brandon and I were like, no, we're going to do an ensemble, and there's not going to be one person. If you have an ego, like, there's a door, because there's not going to be one person that is going to, it's just not, there's no way. We're going to have to wear many hats. It's a low budget film. So it's, if you want, your own trailer, I'm going to have to send you to a trailer facility. Right. That's not going to be this film. So we really needed to do our due diligence in recruiting, as you were saying, to make sure that everybody was in the right headspace, that they really wanted it. And so what we did is we hired a casting director, Jamie Gallagher, who's so cool. I love her. She just full out, did the whole audition process. And then we went to producer session with Jacob, our director, and just started doing mix and match. So she brought us her favorite, and Jacob already at that point had his favorite. So we were just kind of there towards the end. And once like Zach, I remember Zach Gordon. So I don't know if you guys ever watched The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, those movies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So he was the wimpy kid. He played.
I knew he looked familiar, and I was like, I know that kid.
So it's crazy because I've never seen any of those movies growing up. Obviously, I've heard he beat out like 30 or 40,000 kids to get that role. Spent 10 years of his life doing that thing. Got to the point where he's like, you know what? I want to go to college. So he went to high school and college, and then he got to college. He went to Orange County, Chapman University, where Jacob also went. And he came in, we're like, where are you from? Because he just like smashed his audition. I was like, where did this kid come from? Who is he? Flipped over, like, saw his resume. And I'm like, Brandon looked at me like, well, that movie, and that movie. And I'm like, Okay. That's where you could tell like a child actor versus like an actor that maybe have started in high school and then moved to LA and stuff like that. It's just a whole, not talent wise night and day. There was just something different. Mm-hmm. And so we had him, and then we just started doing mix and match. And we liked Nikki, who just came off of her TV show on ABC Family with that girl, what's her name, Bella Thorne. So they had a cool TV show, but we just liked her vibe. We're like, okay. So throwing back to like the 90s, I don't know. Did you guys ever see the movie The Craft, like the original one?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
So do you remember like Fairuza Balk?
Mm-hmm.
Remember Fairuza Balk? So like we wanted somebody who was going to really be able to go there and sink her teeth and like take chances. And I just felt like we kept throwing so much at Nikki in the room that I said, wow, this girl, she's onto something. And if we can like really get her going, and we messed with her, we had her read with a bunch of people and then left because at that time she was on a hit show. Well, we had the casting director bring her back. We're like, okay, we started videotaping, hiring everybody and letting them know once we picked everybody, like, hey, she was halfway home, which was not very close. And the casting director said, can you come back, please? And she's like, wait, what? I've already auditioned for this movie like 4 times. Like, what? And I'm sure like she would elaborate and use different words, but they're like, yeah, they want to hear you scream. And she's like, wait, I've got like, I could send the voice clip. I've done so many things where I could send you scream. We were totally messing with her. We just were trying to get her back in the room to mess with her purposely to show our personalities of like, hey, we'll joke with you all day long. We said, and then, yeah. And she was like, do you really want me to scream? And I'm like, and then I stepped in. I said, yeah, actually, yeah, I do. And she just looked at me like, you kidding me? And then Brandon's like, just kidding. We just called you back to tell you that we'd love to have you in our movie. And she's like, what? And then she went like, ah, it was just really, so yeah, I mean, I think we just did our like motto is very family based, and there's long hours on set, and we've been on this project now for almost going on 3 years. And you really have to not only love what you do, but you also have to like who you're going to work with. Right. Because it's a whole thing. And, a lot of the cast has been, they're best friends now. And it's really cool because I don't know if you guys know, so I'll speed it up, but we found this kid, his name's Travis Burns, and he looks like a young Brad Pitt. He plays Dreamcatcher.
Yeah. Yep. He does.
He's pretty fresh he's from Melbourne, Australia. And he walked in with an American accent. And then once we started talking to him, we're like, Brandon and I looked over and we're like, well, there's Dreamcatcher. And we just talked to him. We're like, can you go outside and practice your lines, but come back with an Australian accent? Because EDM DJs, we just thought like it was plausible. Sure. To have him I don't know, we just saw something in him. And so that was a cool moment to be like, well, that sometimes when somebody walks in the room, you just know that it's them. And sometimes you really like a person and you're thinking, how can you fit them in the mold? And I think with an ensemble, it's really, really, really cool because it all is like energy based. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
We have Lou Ferrigno Jr., who is doing a lot right now. He's so cool. Obviously his dad was the Hulk.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you guys ever see any of those movies?
Well, I mean, that's a little before my time, but I do know who Lou Ferrigno is. I mean, any Gold's Gym you walk into the United States, there's a picture of Lou Ferrigno on the wall. So
it was before my time as well. I didn't know. I think my
don't
head
let
was
don't let the white in my beard fool you now. Okay, I'm not that.
Who else do we have? We have this girl. Her name's Elizabeth Posey, and
she's phenomenal.
She's gonna be so big.
Yes.
And she's a blonde. She's the one
she's the sister, right?
Yeah. She
was spoiler. That's not a spoiler.
Not a spoiler. But the girl is so cool. Like in real life, she's just like everything that you want to see in somebody. You're rooting for her. And I always say that like girls want to be friends with her. Guys obviously want to date her. And she just has it. Like she can sing, she can act, she can dance, she can play sports. she can fight. Obviously, you know, the movie, you guys saw the movie, she can fight. Like she's like down to get banged up and bruised up, and has like, will still work like a very long day and be so grateful. And
she had a very fierce vibe. Like I would describe her as fierce yet soft. You know what I mean? Like she's just very disarming. She was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she's gonna do. I can't wait to see what happened. Well, with all of them, and then but when she came in, we're like, okay, well, there's a young Brad Pitt, and then over here we have a young Charlize Theron,
right?
And we're like, what is going on? I think the casting gods were on our side that week, or I don't know what, but really, what I'm starting to think is that there's a bigger picture here, because I just feel like this movie has a lot of luck, and I think that we set the tone from the get-go of, you really do have to love what you do out here, bottom line. And if you don't, it's going to show. Like, you can't cheat. I'm like a big believer in humanity. Like, I root for humanity. I think we're a lot smarter than sometimes the media likes to give us credit for. And I just think that you can't BS people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Very true.
Be heard. I got my 2 questions left. You got anything else you want to ask?
No. Honestly, Krystal, you have been fantastic. This is such a great
interview.
Going. So no, Saba, go ahead and hit her.
All right. So you were in Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yes.
Yes. So one of the questions we ask most of our guests is, who is your favorite Avenger?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
There's no wrong answer here.
There's no wrong answer. I mean, there is a wrong answer, but I won't talk about it.
Who's your favorite?
I have Iron Man shit everywhere. I love Iron Man. I love Captain America. It's neck and neck for me. But when we talk like who's my favorite Avenger, like it's Tony Stark, Iron Man, Downey, and then if you go Chris Evans, like smoldering Cap in Infinity War when he had the beard and stuff, that's the period where he goes above Downey for me. But every other period, it's Iron Man.
I think so. I think it has to be.
Yeah.
You know, he's fierce. You want to talk about like bringing an edge? I mean, that's Marvel. We'll touch on Jacob in a second. That's Marvel is so big, and I got very lucky falling into that part. And I didn't know it was a pickup day. They shot the whole thing overseas, and long story short, I just got very lucky. And then I didn't even see the movie, and I got phone calls saying, "Hey, you're," and I said, "Wait, what?" It was just
Marvel
one of those
don't miss. They just don't fucking miss.
Where I swear, I so like. Gosh, call it the law of attraction or what, but like when you want something like badly enough, like it'll never come to you. But I there's something about like when you don't try and you like, I don't know what it is, but like when you don't care, like things just come to you. And I don't, that was one of those examples. And working with Taika, he was so smart and
that dude's fucking amazing.
So touching on Marvel is our writer director Jacob. I'm so excited for him. Like, if you guys want, like, I'm going to call it Jacob Johnson's going to be the next big thing in Hollywood. He is so smart. Like, you guys have no idea. You guys should interview him.
We want to.
Smart. Yeah, we'd love to.
We get him. We'll interview
both
him.
of you.
Yeah. He is one. We'll do it together because his energy is so infectious, and he's just, man, there's nothing like him. Like, he really is, like, first of all, he's a prodigy. Guys, he put together a jigsaw puzzle, like almost like 2,000, like, okay, almost 3,000 jigsaw puzzle, you know, those adult ones.
Yeah.
At the age of 2.5, like in only a few hours.
Who hasn't done that?
Then the kid speaks 5 languages fluently.
Jeez.
He graduated university in, I think, 1 or 2 years, where most people it takes 4. And then he got a job working at
6.
Marvel. Yeah, or 11. Then he goes and gets a job at Marvel, works his way up. And I'm really good friends with one of the co-presidents at Marvel. Mm. So I was even asking him, like, wait, is this guy like, what's his, like, am I crazy, or like, is this guy? And he's like, oh no, Jacob's great. And so Brandon and I and him became very good friends. And that's how we started working together. We have another, if you guys like the movie The Skulls, we have a movie that we're kind of like similar, or Rosemary's Baby, if you want to go further back. So we have some fun, unique
That movie's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy. And so Jacob worked at Marvel, stepped away from it because he was ready to have his own individual career.
Sure.
And so he took the risk of, he trusted Brandon and I for his directorial debut. So that's really cool. So we'd
love to have him for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But we're focused on you right now.
Right. Yeah. He's definitely for another episode, and would love to have both of you.
Well, there's my ADD just kicked in. No, what I was going to say though is the whole Marvel, because you guys have to touch in on Marvel, and then you can ask me the next question, is that, so he came with like a little Marvel army. So like our mask, the Dreamcatcher mask, that was all Marvel, like the Marvel guys. And so there's a lot to him. And I think it's just and I also tell people, what's Dreamcatcher? It's if Wes Craven and the Marvel universe had a movie baby, it's Dreamcatcher.
Yeah. Right. Nice. And as a first-time director, I'm sure with, the ensemble cast, no egos, none of that, I can see why this was like such an amazing experience for you, because I'm sure just the amount of energy, the fun, all that must have just been, palpable.
It was on our first week, we threw it was supposed to be like a calm first week, and then of course anything that can go wrong did. So we got a phone call from the warehouse guy and said, actually, we're going to flip your schedule. And this is like, it's a popular location. They shot like Ford versus Ferrari, and they do like everything there. And we're just, again, like this little independent film who was like, well, we'll take your Sunday afternoon and we'll take what we can get. And so we had to throw this huge party. Like, you guys know how that club festival was. And so I was like, okay, going back to the trailers, we weren't going to give everybody trailers. There's no way, not with an ensemble, because we wanted them to mesh. So I called my friend, he's got a huge tour bus company, like for all the stars. And I said, hey, can you send me some, send me some trailers. And we threw the cast in there, the ensemble, for the opening week. And every time I went back, these kids were like dancing, like there was a full on like dance party in there. And I was like, this is exactly what we wanted, because I don't care how good of an actor you are. Like, you can't fake it, chemistry. And I think that really translated to these kids became fast friends and lasting friends, and it's just, that's what I wanted to get into this industry for, was like, let's have fun and then just throw it out there and see what happens.
It's great.
Awesome. Sable, what's the other one you're going to hit her with?
Listen, this is the debate of all debates. It's been going on in my life for probably a decade. Lots of debates in my household with me and my girlfriend Courtney. We've been together for a very long time. Lots of debates with a lot of my closest friends. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Okay, just think through it. Think through it. What is a sandwich?
A sandwich is with flatbread.
Okay, this is always where it goes. So just talk through it.
And it just lays down like it's going to bed, where a hot dog's more like taking a nap, like you falling asleep on the lounge chair and you're sitting upright. And it's like, that's still not, no, you're still not a sandwich.
So you're the one, you're in the camp that, a hot dog's a hot dog, a hamburger is a hamburger, and then like a ham sandwich is a ham sandwich.
Well,
you don't think a hamburger is a sandwich either then, right?
No. Do you guys have Wendy's? Do you guys have Wendy's where you are?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, what drives me crazy is like the meat is square, but the bun is round.
Right. Hold on though. I got one more for you. We're getting there. So you think that a hamburger?
You worked up over sandwiches.
Yeah. I do. I love this. I love having this conversation because it's a lot of debate here. So a hot dog's a hot dog, a hamburger's a hamburger. When you go to Wendy's and you order the spicy chicken, what is that spicy chicken thing called?
I haven't been to Wendy's in a very long time.
It's a spicy chicken sandwich, right? It's a piece of chicken on the same bun as the hamburger. So I don't know. Listen, we'll stop here because I'm going a little. We're going off on a tangent with the hot dog thing that we never do. You are of the opinion that a hot dog is not a sandwich, and I'm okay with that.
And
well, it's not.
Thank you. And she is in the majority of it. I do have a question food wise, though, especially because you're on the West Coast, and I am a big fan. And normally it's one or the other. Are you In-N-Out or are you Whataburger?
In-N-Out.
Yep.
In-N-Out.
Same here. I love it.
I mean, have you guys been to LA before?
I was at Laguna Beach one time for work a long time ago, and that was my first In-N-Out experience, as well as Whataburger. And
I've been there for work a few times.
So when you fly into LAX, but if you flew into Orange County, that may have been at a different airport. But when you fly, like literally when you fly into the international airport, LAX, there's a In-N-Out right there. And usually like either like when I drop my friend, well, this is before Uber, when I drop my friends or family on, you stop at In-N-Out. And when you land, you say, hey, pull over. I want an In-N-Out. It's kind of a ritual.
Well, that's it. I got nothing else. I just want to tell you that I appreciate it. You fought through some technical difficulties. You know, the stories you told, the emotion I could see when you were kind of talking about working with your family and those kind of things. It's just that stuff resonates with me. The grind, the fight, the ups and downs. It's been a pleasure to have you on Zero Dark Nerdy, and we appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you on, you know, the eve of one of the biggest moments of your career. So thank you very, very much.
Yeah, agreed. Saba pretty much summed it up for me. Again, everybody check it out. Dreamcatcher, March 5th, on demand and digital. Krystal, any, shout outs as far as, friends, family, or how people can find you maybe on social media? Now's your time to plug anything and all things Krystal and Quartzo Studios.
You guys are awesome. I want to hang out with you again.
Please. We
look, I mean, anybody can find me, Twitter, Instagram, it's very simple at Krystal Vayda. But yeah, we made this movie with so much passion and so much love, and listen to it loud because it's an audio and visual movie. And really pay attention. There's a lot of really funny jokes in there. There's a lot of information. I still haven't met one person who was able to guess the ending of who the killer is. And so, yeah, if you want to reach out and tell me that you guessed it, I'm available. Otherwise, I just hope everybody enjoys it. We had fun making it. And if all goes well, we'll make a Dreamcatcher 2 not too far away. Excellent. We got to know, too, I know you said you're getting ready to greenlight another project. So anytime you want to jump on, please let us know. You have been just a blessing, a breath of fresh air when it comes to just the energy. Like I said, it's just fantastic coming off you. And I know you're on a very, very tight, busy schedule with the promo for all this. So it was fun to let loose with you, enjoy some White Claws, and we'll definitely enjoy more. But again, thank you so much for your time. Again, everybody out there listening and watching, please be sure to check it out. Dreamcatcher on demand and digital, March 5th. Krystal, thank you so much for joining us. Hang out with us for just a little bit before I hit the record button. Everybody out there listening, don't forget to find us on our website, popculturepodcast.com. That's where you can get the episodes, our videos, entertainment news, notes, and of course our blogs. Big shout outs to our sponsors, Andrew Newman, attorney at law. AttorneyNewman.com is the website, helping you with all your civil, criminal, and traffic court needs here in North Carolina. And that's it. Be excellent to each other. Be good. Don't forget the Pop Culture Awards voting still going on. It's on our blog page where you can vote for your favorite films, video games, TV shows of 2020. And again, we appreciate the love here in the States as well as overseas and abroad. So,
and the Believe Podcast Network, #1 podcast network for professionals.
That's right. And be sure to check out Saba's and Luke's podcast, The Water Cooler. Go ahead and do your little thing.
At WC Sports Pod. Check us out.
Yep. All things sports. You guys just released the Timeline of Terror Part
Yeah, timeline terror part 3, but we've been doing a lot of different things. Quarterback carousel. We got all kinds of NFL offseason stuff coming up. Just check it out. Check it out. We love you guys. Enjoy your lives.
All right, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. To start your free trial of Sirius XM today, visit SiriusXM.com/believe.